Hello everyone. Today we have our favorite astrologer, Ms. Jayashree Dhamani here. Today, Madam will be talking about children, their life, and different areas of concern regarding children's life and how can we improve the life of our children. So, ma'am, thank you for coming back to my channel. We all are waiting for your valuable inputs regarding our children because we all love children and we want to
Yes.
form a great generation so that they can contribute to the country also for the society.
Yes.
So today,
Thank you. Thank you, Jai, for having me. This is like second or third time that we are meeting on the YouTube, and it's
yes,
pleasure always to talk to you. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge
even
with
I'm
you
so
people.
grateful that you never hesitate. You never say no, or
Yes.
you're always willing to share your information, share your knowledge, and
Yes.
thank
Yes.
you for that as well.
Yes. So, we were talking today about child and parent relationship.
Yes,
And
yes,
Jay, I wanted to share there are different ways that we can actually analyze what would be the relation of a child and parent. And it
yes,
could be either way. Like a child would like to know like what would be like parents doing for them, and even
yes.
parents would like to know whether the child will be beneficial to them in their old age. So that's the
That's true.
always question, like child would always look for something from the parent initial stage till they are like say 25, 30. And then when parents are like say crossing 60s, they would like to know whether the child or their children will look after them or not. So
Yes,
it is always beneficial either ways to know like how would be the parent child relationship.
yes.
And first of all, Jay, I wanted to share that this is a very karmic relationship.
That's true.
Unless and until you have certain karmas to share with the other person, you
Hmm.
cannot be in the same family. The son
That's
or
true.
the
That's true.
daughter
Very
has
true.
to have some karmic relationship with their parents, and parents do have
Yes,
certain relations, past life relations with their children. Only then they can be in the same family. So
that's true. That's
here it is nothing about like being what kind of relationship. I would say it is more about responsibility, your duties towards each other.
hmm.
The parent would be responsible for the child till the child is grown up and they can be by themselves.
That's true.
So it is completely coming under your moral responsibility more than anything else. A parent
That's true.
should not be thinking like whether they should do certain things or not for not very proper child. I mean, they may have a child who's naughty, who's noisy, who's not listening to them. There are very good chances that a parent can have such kind of child, and they would rethink about it and doubt about it whether they should do certain things or not. But here a parent should
That's true.
always understand it is about their moral responsibility towards their child, and
That's
they
true.
should support the child in any which ways. If a parent would not support the child, then who else will?
You're right.
So the same way we can think about our children or our son and daughter, that after certain age, when a parent is like coming in old age beyond 55, 60, it is
Hmm.
their moral responsibility to support their parents however they are.
That's true. That's true.
So it is both the ways that a parent and a child should take it as a moral responsibility without getting into any why question. Why I have to do, or the child or the parent is not proper, not giving their 100%, but still we have to give them.
That's true.
So it is completely a karmic thing, and there is no question of why we have to do certain things. We just have to do it and accept the person, either child or a parent, as they are, and do our
Okay.
duties. So
Okay.
that would be a very easy way to handle a child parent relationship without getting into whether it is beneficial or it is like problematic relation. We just have to accept we need to do our duties.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, now if we check the ways to check how we can check in a horoscope,
Okay.
then we can focus on the fifth house,
Okay.
the fifth lord.
Okay.
We can also make it as a lagna. We can
Okay.
make the fifth house as an ascendant and see everything. Like
Okay.
how is it? It's a chart in itself. If
Yes.
a parent is coming to you and a parent is asking you something, then we can make fifth house as a ascendant and then check everything. And
Okay.
if a child is coming to you and
Okay.
asking you that how would be my parents, then you can check either cancer as an ascendant,
Okay.
moon sign as an ascendant,
Okay.
or for father we can check sun as an ascendant or
Okay.
Leo
Nine.
as an ascendant.
Leo also. Okay.
Leo as an ascendant. So
Okay.
this is the proper way to check, like how, to make that particular thing as an ascendant,
Okay.
and
I
then
have
check
a
everything else.
I have a small doubt. Like in this case, the second case, can we keep a ninth house also as an ascendant? Like
uh,
1 minute.
Ninth house also we can take for father, and fourth
Okay.
house as a mother.
Okay. Okay.
And if we want to check the general relationship, just the relationship with others, like child parent, then we can also take second house as an ascendant, because
Okay.
all these houses are prime houses for any family relations.
Okay.
So first you need to figure out, like, for who you want to check, whether you
Okay.
want to check for a child, you want to check for mother, father, or in general. So that
Okay.
would determine what to make as an ascendant.
Okay.
We can also check just Jupiter, because
Okay.
Jupiter is the significator, prime significator for a child.
Children. Okay.
Even for family, the second house, Jupiter is the main significator along
That's
with Venus. So, but for child, we can always take Jupiter.
okay.
So, prime significator for a child and parent relationship is Jupiter. So, we can also make Jupiter as an ascendant wherever Jupiter is placed in our chart, and
Okay.
make the entire chart and see then how are the impacts.
Okay. Okay.
Thirdly, Jay, we can take the divisional chart.
Okay.
Divisional chart for deeper understanding. Generally, divisional chart is looked for the internal relation more often external. All
Okay.
the D charts, I mean ascendant, if we say that the normal our birth chart, we say those chart, from there we can derive the external influence,
Okay.
how it is apparently, I mean how others are seeing it. But when you want to check internally, like how you feel about that relation, because we
Okay.
all feel differently. Maybe we are very
Yes.
good at our parents, we are very good at our child, but internally we may not feel the same. And
Okay.
that can be determined by the divisional charts, any divisional chart, particularly.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am, at this point, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
During consultations, while parents come with the full horoscope of the child, or any particular question, I have seen most of the parents, they don't know much about their children. So
Yes,
I asked them, do you know what your child wants from you, or do you know what are their habits? Many of them are clueless. They don't
yes,
know what their
yes,
child needs. But they
yes,
have fixed
yes.
expectation. They need to do well. Children need to do
Yeah.
well.
So that's where the divisional chart is the most important thing, because we can know the internal part, their feeling, like,
That's
where is their desire, what are their wishes,
that's true.
however they are showing us. Because nowadays in this, younger generations are like very secretive, they do not want to share things openly with their parents. Why?
True.
Because they know that parents will stop them, they will
That's
try to control them, they don't know half of the things. So the problem arises from here. And D chart, I mean all the divisional charts are very important in that regard, to know the internal feelings, like how's the internal feeling, how the child or a parent are thinking or feeling about it. And D7 chart, which is called Saptamsha, is very good for knowing the child, the internal feeling of a child. and anyone who wants to know their parents, their status, how are they, what are their health, for that we can check the Dwadashamsha chart, that is D12.
Okay.
So these
Okay.
two charts are very important to know, and always Navamsha we take into consideration for anything. Navamsha is the best divisional chart to know the strength of any planet or
Okay.
strength of any house.
Okay.
So that is always irrespective of anything we are looking into. If we are checking the Navamsha charts, it always helps to know the strength of a house and a planet.
Okay.
So this is the third point that we can check for the relation. The
Okay.
fourth point is the Ashtak Varga.
Okay.
Ashtak Varga always show the strength of a house. How many points that you are getting in Sarvotbhadra Chakra?
Okay.
How many points that you get in total points? I mean, who all are giving you points for that particular house?
Okay.
How
Okay.
many points that you are getting. So
Okay.
Ashtak Varga gives you a clear and one shot idea about your houses. Like say if you want to check the fifth house, if you get 30 plus points, then you are good. I mean, you are good enough. You don't have to bother about anything. Your child will be supportive. There would be definitely fluctuation up and down that we cannot disregard.
Yes.
According, our dasha matters a lot in
That's true.
anything we check. Like, even if we have 30 points, even if we have a very good fifth house, even if we have good Jupiter, everything, but if our dasha is not being supportive, then we do not get the desired results. So
That's true.
that is irrespective of whatever we are discussing right now. But dasha lord is very important with respect to the fifth house. If the dasha lord is like from the fifth house is in the 8th, 12th or 6th, you will see the impact for sure. So
That's true.
unless and until you are clear with that dasha, you have to just be patient that right now the universe is not allowing you to have the benefits of uh, what you are eligible for.
Okay.
So it's just that you have to wait till you get into the right dasha.
Okay.
Important part here is we do have the sub periods. So even if your mahadasha is not good, but if your sub period is good, then you can always derive the positive results from the fifth house or from any of your parent if you are looking for.
Okay.
So these are the things basically and in all these things, Jay, if we check the element part,
Okay.
like how is the element is like basic substance of everything that universe is made up of.
Okay.
It's like the fire element, the water element, earth element, and air element, and the space, that is
Okay.
akash tattva.
Okay.
So we are made up of all these elements. So you need to check what you are made up of, which element is dominant for you, and
Okay.
which element is dominant for your child.
Okay.
So if you are a water dominant element, and your child is like fire dominant element, then it would be a vast difference between you both, right? Because
Yes.
you are very subtle, you are very emotional, and your child is like fiery. And the fire element lacks any empathy, or emotions are lacking there.
Yes.
So when you have this kind of relation with elements, definitely however your chart is, however strong everything is, you bound to get some clashes.
Okay. One
And
minute,
all,
madam.
yeah.
I ask it out.
In all these things, I just want to say you just have to know all these things. There is
Okay.
nothing to change because we cannot change anything what we are made up of. If I am a water person, I am a water person. I just have to know myself, I just have to know the other person and
Okay.
act accordingly. It is
Okay.
not about like, so astrology helps us here a lot
Okay.
to let you know, be aware of something, that
Okay.
okay, your element is this, your child's element is this, so know this and then act accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah, you were
My
asking.
my doubt is that this is for my audiences. Now we are talking about elements. So suppose the Parent is a water element, the child is a fire element. So the element primarily we look at according to the lagna, right?
Yes,
Okay.
basically prime is the lagna, but we would also check the moon's element. Why?
Okay.
Because our mind and moon drives us mostly.
Okay.
So our moon sign and their moon sign, our ascendant and their ascendant. So this too is like primary thing.
Okay.
Thirdly, we must always consider the dasha element, the dasha planet element, because whatever I am maybe a water person, water
Okay.
element person, but my
Okay.
dasha is of like sun,
Okay.
Mars,
Okay.
so it's fire element.
Okay.
So I would portray as a fire person.
Okay.
So always dasha impacts a lot. You need to check apart from the ascendant, apart from the moon, we need to check what is driving us at present and
Okay.
what is driving us our child.
Okay.
So the basis is all this. Apart from
Mhm.
the element is 100% the first thing that we need to check, and secondly it is also the gunas, say sattva guna, rajasic and tamasic. So again it is same like elements only that we can figure out. We have sattva guna planet like Jupiter, Venus and Sun.
Okay.
Sorry, we will not consider Venus here. It is just Sun, Moon and Jupiter as
Okay.
a sattva gun. When it comes to rajasic, we take Venus and Mercury.
Okay.
And lastly tamasic as Rahu, Ketu, Saturn and Mars.
Okay.
So these are the gunas. Sattva guna is always like coming under like Brahmins, all
Mhm.
good. They will always try to give, very godly people, sage type of people who would always try to do donation, charity, and they always do good. Whoever does whatever to them, but they will always do good.
Okay.
Secondly, when it comes to Rajasic, it is always give and take for them. Like you give
Okay.
me this much, I'll give you that much. They will not harm each other unless and until the balance is there in giving and taking.
Okay.
When
Okay.
it comes to Tamasic, all the malefic planets like strong Rakshasa gun planets,
Okay.
over there it is always like self, me. What is
That's true.
comfortable to me?
Mhm.
How I like. It's I center person.
Mhm.
When it comes to a tamasic person or Rakshasagan, again it is like Devgan, Manushyagan and Rakshasgan come under the same thing.
Okay.
So
So,
these are the substance, Jay. If we know basic thing, like how is they are made up of, whether it is child or whether it is parent, what they are made up of basically.
okay.
So like salt is salt and sugar is sugar. They will do their job in any which ways.
That's
You
true.
cannot transform sugar to salt and salt to sugar. They both
Then,
have their
then,
independent nature. So when we are aware of the element part, gunas part, we know the substance, like what the other person is made up of.
okay.
And
So
three majorly,
when
yeah,
we forcefully try to change somebody, the person will lose the
not
identity, and the child also will go through identity crisis.
yes, yes.
I have seen parents forcing children to behave according to their own, I mean,
Hmm.
parents'
Hmm.
wishes. Actually, they're harming the psyche of the child.
Right. So basically we need to just know this is like astrology is more like diagnose. You can diagnose the thing,
That's true.
but the repairing part is like we need to do by our own self, by knowing it. Okay, this is what is lacking in the other person. If the person is more like earthy, with
Mhm.
earth element, then we don't have to do much with that person. Just show them the reality and they would
Yeah.
understand.
That's true. That's true. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
That's a nice
If
idea.
the person is like air person, you can just convince the person with your intelligence,
Intellect.
with your communication. You can give a clear picture to that airy person and he would understand.
Okay.
With a water element, you just be emotional with that person, understand their feelings. like where their emotions are. So the key is emotion. Handle them with emotions and they are good. When it comes to fire, you need to be like strong,
Action.
passionate. Show them like the path of action and they are good. They don't like boredom of emotions and all. They don't want to get into there. So exactly deal with the person of what they are made up of.
Okay.
And you are good. To a sattvic person, if you say you go and fight, the sattvic person won't be able to do that. If you tell a rajasic person that you only give, don't take from me, he will not, the equation would not go in his mind or her mind. So know this thing, the basic thing, like what is the element, what is the gunas that is dominant to that person, and always check first, apart from your moon sign, sun sign and ascendant, check first the dasha lord.
Okay.
That is very important, because we always go by, when we look at the chart, Jay, we always look at the ascendant, we look at the moon sign, the sun sign, but the importance of dasha lord is like you are there. If I am in Mumbai, I'm in Mumbai, the weather of Mumbai will affect me.
You're right.
So if I'm in London, London's weather would impact me.
That's true.
So it is all two different things. So dasha is very important here. So check dasha and you will know where and what kind of mindset the person is right now governed by.
Okay.
So these are the elements, these are the things and pointers which we, from what we can check, how is the relation.
Okay.
These are the fundamental things, Jay.
Okay.
Secondly, if we want to check the happiness or the unhappiness from the relation, whether the child wants to know like how is the happiness from their parents, or a parent want to know whether they will be happy with their child in their old age,
Okay.
then those things are governed by certain planets which are influencing your particular house. So for child it is fifth house.
Yes.
So what influence the fifth house is having? uh, Fifth house, if fifth house has the influence of Jupiter, Venus, moon, and a very positive Mercury,
Okay.
then the relation would be good.
Okay.
You will derive mostly happiness. Mostly, I mean, we cannot say 100% in astrology, because it keeps on changing with different dashas and all.
Yes.
But we can be sure ultimately, you would have certain happiness only from that particular relation.
Okay.
And if you want to check unhappiness, then all the planets like Saturn, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, they will give what? Saturn will give suffering. Mars will give conflict, fights. I mean, Mars will, everything Mars wants to get, he will fight.
Yes.
If we consider Rahu as an influence on your particular house, say fifth house, your moon or your sun as a significator of your parents, then Rahu would can give you some scandals, some cheating. Many times we think like, even if like sun, how can he cheat his parents? How can he be violent towards his parents? If the influence is of Rahu like planet or Mars like planet, then there are chances of you getting such kind of treatment from your child also. So it is very important to know the benefic influence and the malefic influence on that particular house of concern to check. If we check that, then we can easily say that ultimately whether you can derive happiness or you will be unhappy.
Okay.
Another important point, Jay, just check the fourth house from any concerned house. Fourth house. Fourth house, we take it as a happiness from anything. It is Sukhasthan.
Yes.
So check fourth house from the fifth house. So that would come to the eighth house.
Yes.
But surprisingly, eighth house will tell you whether you will be happy from your child or not.
Okay.
Check seventh house for mother's happiness.
Okay. because it is
Check,
fourth from fourth.
yes, check 12th house from father's house, that is ninth house.
Nine.
So even if they are like 8th house, 12th house, they are indicator of our happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere we can see our happiness, our sukha from these houses.
Okay.
So any planet you want, and this can be applied to anything, Jay. It is not just particularly for this happiness. Any happiness you want to check, you can check from the fourth place from that particular planet or a house.
Okay. But at this point, I would like to share my experience that,
Yes, yes.
a few years back, I was struggling to construct a house of my own. Like I purchased a land, but I couldn't construct a house. But for some reason, for some silly reason, I was just going through my horoscope. Then when I checked my eighth house, I understood that whatever my parents has, their
Yes,
house or ornaments, everything will become mine. I
yes,
understood that.
right,
That whatever they have,
right,
it will become mine only, not
right,
for my brother.
yes,
That time I understood they will give their house to me, their all assets to me.
right,
From that time onwards, a big headache was over from my head because I became very light-hearted. Until then, I was feeling very much troubled when I will construct a house and all. But when I checked that eighth house, it shows a lot of things about happiness which we are going to get from our
yes,
parents. I am
yes,
very much sure about it. And
yes,
after that, I never ever had any worry regarding me having my own house. I understood they will give that
right.
to me.
Yeah. So it is like that's what we get very good knowledge from our horoscope. That
That's true.
anything we want to know, just see in your, I mean, you don't have to see anybody else's chart. You just check
That's
your chart. You get everything from that.
That's true. Why I said it, just because we all have a feeling that eighth house is very bad. Eighth
Yes.
house is actually fatal. Yes, it has some kind of negative things attached to that, but there are so many good things connected to the
Yes,
eighth house.
yes. Inheritance you can have from eighth
Yes.
house only. You can
Oh
have
yes.
lottery winning. You can have a big wealth from eighth house.
Okay. And that time I told my husband, I called up my husband, I told him, you don't worry, we will have a house of our own. Be peaceful.
Right, 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 right. That's nice. That's nice.
It was very nice.
Yeah. And again, coming back to our topic, and
Okay.
if we lastly, if we check, Jay, the role of significator,
Yes.
and that is Jupiter. Apart from Jupiter, we can also consider Sun.
Okay.
Sun because it is the natural fifth house.
Okay. Leo.
And also, yeah, and another important house which we need to check for general relationship is the second house and
Okay.
Venus.
Okay.
Like what second house, how the strength of the second house.
Okay.
So all these things, whatever we discussed for the moon sign, the sun sign, the fifth lord, or the ascendant, we can also check the same thing from Jupiter.
Okay.
Because Jupiter is the prime significator for a child and a parent also. It is a
Okay.
prime significator for the second house.
Okay. Yes.
And Jupiter, yeah, and Jupiter has the maximum significations in our chart. It is
Yes.
a Jiva Karak.
Yes.
It is for family, it is for wealth, it is for health, it is for our luck, everything. So, Jupiter, we must check for a parent child relationship always, like the
Okay.
strength of Jupiter.
Okay.
Secondly, what kind of strength Jupiter will give in a particular chart can
Okay.
be known by the sign Sagittarius.
Uh-huh.
Sagittarius is kind of a Mula Trikon sign of Jupiter. So always check the placement of Sagittarius sign in your chart. That would
Okay.
ultimately, that is our luck also.
Yes.
Where is your luck? See, in anything, when we are checking a horoscope, we get everything by luck, by our past karmas,
That's true.
with our karmic relationships. So, always Sagittarius plays an important role. So, where is in your chart the sign Sagittarius is?
Okay.
Because up and down will go with your dasha period. Your dasha is good, you will get good result. Your dasha is bad, it is bad result. But where is your luck? Because luck is where you are strong.
Okay.
If you have luck, you are strong. If you don't have luck, how much you try, you
Okay.
may not get the result.
Okay.
Yes, there is free will, there is like hard work which you need to apply, and you get things also from your hard work with your free will, but
Okay.
it is a long way. With horoscope we always check our chances, the
Okay.
possibilities,
Okay.
and that we derive from the luck part.
Okay.
So Sagittarius again would take a very important role here, and we need to check Sagittarius sign, because from there Jupiter will derive its power.
Okay.
How powerful your Jupiter is, that we can know from the strength of Sagittarius sign and where it is placed in your chart.
Okay.
Okay, so all these are the parameters that we can check for a child and parent relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So any, and also lastly I would say the aspect part, that
Okay.
which planet is aspecting a concerned house, say fifth
Okay.
house. Fifth house, if is aspected by Jupiter or any benefic planet, Venus, Moon, then definitely it will give some good result only.
Okay.
We can also consider as a very good role player Mercury. See, Mercury is our mind, our intelligence, our communication. The clarity we have in our life is by Mercury planet.
Okay.
So if Mercury is good, then a lot of misunderstanding we can clear by communication.
Okay.
So Mercury plays a very important, see that way almost we have discussed all the planets.
That's true.
All the planets, it's the combination of all these planets that we can have a good relation. It's just
Okay.
not one planet.
Okay.
Mercury will play an important role in communication, in clearing any misunderstanding,
Okay.
how our intelligence works. It's like I perceive things as an equality, like parent and child should think equally. Somebody else can think differently. So, how is your perception? How
Okay.
is your knowledge? That would be, we can think that we can derive from Mercury.
Okay.
So, all these planets in combination can give us an idea of a good relation
Okay.
from a parent and child.
Okay. Okay.
So, anything, any question, Jay, from your side?
Yes, it's not like a question. What I wish is to have a second part for this video. For example, we can take one by one uh,
Yes,
issues regarding children, like their ADHD has, I told
yes,
you earlier,
yes,
then lying, disobedience, being
yes,
spiritual or unspiritual.
yes,
We can address all those issues and planetary combination as a second part.
yes,
If we can do like that, that will be great, because so many questions doing consultation, so many questions people ask
yes,
about the children.
yes,
Some people, some children, they are too much into lying and disobeying the parents. It
yes,
happened due to the past karma also. Some children are actually good in studies, but they are not good in keeping good routine. Or some children are too much into phone and social
yes,
media and all. How we can control them in a very healthy way. So if we
yes.
can do a second part regarding all these things,
Yeah, sure,
that
sure,
will be
sure. Sure, we can
great.
do the second part. And if you are comfortable right now, only we can continue. You can break the video and we can take it in the next part. We
We
can
can
do
do
the
it
in the
as a second part, because I can ask my audience also
yeah,
what all
sure,
questions they have,
sure, sure,
so
no
that it
problem.
can be more interactive.
Yes, 100%. You can check, and anyone who wants to know anything further on this, on whatever
Okay,
we discussed, we can
okay,
always take in the second part.
okay. And here in this class, what I learned a lot of things, but the element part really attracted me.
Yes.
Uh, normally we check element, but the dasha element we normally I don't I
Yes.
that's a new concept for me. So I
Yes.
understood a lot from that, and the full element series was
Yes,
really
yes.
refreshing.
And I have done my research and my PhD in the elements only.
Wow, that's
So
really great.
so
That's really
I'll be able to talk a lot on elements, and 100% I would say today, after my 20 years of experience, I have always considered elements in my analysis. So
elements.
that is my fundamental thing, that I would first see what type of element is governing this particular situation
Okay,
and
okay.
behave accordingly or give guidance accordingly.
Okay. So that will be useful for my students, not my
Yes.
students. Some people are learning from the channel. So
Yes.
they can also learn. I'm sure they have already got a lot of ideas.
Sure.
So this element series, it was really great. I learned a lot from that. And thank
Sure,
you for
sure.
spending this much time with me. You know that I'm not keeping physically well now.
Yeah. No
So
problem. No problem,
everything
Jai.
is
We can, connect next whenever you are ready, and
okay.
whenever your audience has enough material to ask for, we will
Okay.
definitely take up a session.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was really a nice session, and I really enjoyed sharing everything, whatever. I hope I was clear on my
Yes, yes. You were
perception.
very clear. Just because I'm not keeping well, that's why I was a
It's
little bit
okay. Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
See you then. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.